Welcome back, everybody, to another Factorio video. Today, I'm going to be starting a short tutorial series, probably about 4 videos or so, where we go over how to bootstrap your base. Whether you've played for thousands of hours, or you're just starting, or you're somewhere in between, everybody starts the game at the same point with basically nothing in your inventory, with no technologies researched on the tree. If you want to make a super base, if you want to put all kinds of belts everywhere, you want to have a distributed rail system, you want to have robots flying across the sky, or maybe you just want to tinker or do whatever, everybody starts at the same spot, and you have to get the thing up and running. And so I've been spending some time developing a blueprint book to help you do just that. So what you need to do, you need to go into the description for this video. There's a link to a paste bin. And when you go to that link, there's going to be a whole bunch of text. You want to copy that. You want to go in the game, hit B to open your blueprint menu, and go to import string, and then paste that text into here. And then click import. It's going to give you a blueprint book with 25 blueprints to go from start to finish to nothing in the game to launching a rocket. Probably about 7 hours or so. And if you want to do the There Is No Spoon achievement, this is a good blueprint book to do that with. Also, in the description of this video, I'm going to include a few other things. I'm going to include another blueprint book just with some basic balancers, if you don't have this kind of thing already. That will just be useful for while we're playing. And also include a few useful links. There will be a link to the Factorio cheat sheet website, which has just a bunch of useful information on how fast certain things are, some common ratios that players use, that kind of stuff. And the other one is the Factorio Wiki, where you can look up all the different recipes. Before we get started, let's back up to the map generation screen. Alright, so this is the map generation screen. There's all kinds of different settings you can play around with. You can click the preview button to see what the world's going to look like. A few things to note: I've turned the size and richness of all the ores up very high so that we've got a lot of resources close by to our spawn. We've got a little bit of water nearby for our steam power. There's oil not too far away. And for the terrain, I have turned the cliffs off for this tutorial. It'll just be faster to play without them. If you've got them on, blueprint book is still fine. You just might have to move things around to get things to fit because they will get in the way. We won't have access to the explosives to break them up until near the end of what we're going to be doing today with this little mini-series, I guess you could call it. And then another thing to note, I'm starting mostly in a desert, which isn't going to have a lot of trees, which can be a big hassle to clear away, and it'll slow you down early on. Here's a little forest down here at the bottom. And also, because we're in a desert, there will also be nice big stones, which we can break for early stone and coal to get us started. I've made the starting area in the enemy tab very large, so the enemies are farther away at the beginning. And also for the tutorial, I made their frequency and their size smaller, so we don't have to deal with them just for the tutorial. The book is still fine if you're going to play with more aliens in a smaller starting size. Just realize that you're going to have to focus on defenses a lot more than I am, and it'll slow you down a bit. I've also turned off enemy expansion, because I find it's kind of fun early, but it is very irritating and annoying later on. When your base gets really big, the bigger your base gets, the more time you have to spend running around the perimeter and cleaning up all the aliens that are encroaching on your borders. You can get around this a bit now with the artillery cannon. Just be advised that it's going to slow you down. You have to focus more on turrets and ammo and stuff like that early on. Anything else to note? I don't think I changed anything in the advanced tab. And I think that's good to go. I'll also include a link to this particular seed if you want to play on this very same map as I'm playing on. Click play and let's go. Alright, with all that info out of the way, let's get started. Need to grab my blueprint books from the blueprint tab. I recommend that you save yours here as well. You hit B to open this area up, and if you've downloaded the blueprint book, you need to save it. You basically just paste it here. I've already got one though, so it doesn't work, but that's how you do it. You save it there, and then you can make modifications to the book, or if you screw up a blueprint or whatever, you've always got a backup copy here. And in fact, since we've got 25 blueprints here, eventually, once we've used some of the early ones that we're not going to need anymore, what I'll do is just destroy them. I'm going to run over here to start with, chop down any trees I see. We're going to need a lot of trees to set up our small power poles. We're in a desert, so there's not a lot of trees. We're going to chop down this big rock here, which is going to give us coal and stone, which is going to give us a little jump start. Alright, and I think what I'll also do is put my blueprint books on my bar down here so I can use hotkeys to reference them. Yeah, okay, so we got some coal and some stone. We're going to go here. We're going to shift left click our furnaces to get those crafted. And since our coal and our iron patches are kind of connected, first thing I'm going to do is shift forward through some blueprints. You do this by holding down shift button and using your mouse wheel. We're going to go to this first little mining guy, and I just want to make sure basically that when I put down our mining drills later, that our iron drills are not going to drill up coal and vice versa. So I'm just going to line them up like this. And then I'll put down that as a reference, and we'll put down the other thing, the first blueprint in the blueprint book, down beneath it. Just like that. We're going to do a lot of placing blueprints as placeholders, basically, and fill them in later. But we do want to get started. And you know what? Since I'm going to be using these two items a lot, I'll go ahead and put those on the bar as well. The burner mining drill and the stone furnace. Okay, there we go. And we will do that. Hit Alt to bring up this overlay. I'm going to make an assumption that if you're watching this video, you probably have played Factorio at least a little bit. So I'm not going to do the very basics of a tutorial. Like, I'm not going to tell you, this is a conveyor belt. This is what a conveyor belt does. This is what inserter does. This is what a furnace does. But I will talk about some of the keybinds I'm using in case you're unfamiliar with those. We want to keep making these. We want to make all of the stone furnaces we can straight off the bat. And as we get more of these guys, we're going to start setting them up and then get more and more iron going to get more and more of our drills and furnace going as well. Let's do that. And actually, as they're doing that, I'm going to run down here and look for more of these stones to break. This is also, I should mention, kind of towards the beginning, this is not designed to be anything even close to resembling a speedrun. We should finish fast enough to be able to get the There Is No Spoon achievement if you don't have that already, which is to launch a rocket within 9 hours. But if you ever watch somebody speedrun this game, they require a ton of practice, like hundreds of hours to really do it well. And they have to use very specific builds that are very complicated. They have to use notes. This is meant to be something that you can do with little to no planning, basically no practice whatsoever. Just follow the blueprints and lay out a straightforward base. So I'm not going to be in a terrible rush, but I'm not going to be going slow either. One thing that is going to be a little bit of an annoyance is we're going to run out of trees early. We'll have to go chop them down. Did I pick up? I picked up a good amount of stone. Pick up these guys. Can make 3 more of those. Start laying those guys out. Give them some coal. One of these guys probably has excess coal. There we go. Pick up some more there. Okay. There we are. And even one more. And now we're getting low on coal, so I think what we'll probably need to do is start drilling up some coal up here automatically. Let me get one here to get this guy jump started. There we go. And we're going to let those guys feed each other. So once you have at least 2, once this guy is done, you can have them face each other, and they will put the coal they're drilling up into the next guy, and so you can make a chain, which we're going to continue to increase the size of. And basically, we want to fill out this whole thing. We also have a blueprint for stone and for copper, which we're going to place in a minute once we get more iron up and running. Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to place these guys up here to get more coal, because we're going to need a lot of coal. Okay, and to pick up stuff out of the inventories automatically, I'm just going to hold down Control and hold down my mouse button as I move it over them. Same thing, to put the coal in, I'm going to hold down the mouse button and hold down the right click on my mouse, Control right click, like that. And to pick things up, Control left click. Alright, so there we got more stuff. Pick up more coal. And while these guys, while I let them get a little bit of a head start on making me some iron, we'll place some more of the blueprints. So this is the one we already placed that is drilling up the iron. This one will be doing copper. Since we're eventually going to be making a main bus with these ore patches, I'm going to line this up with where that ore patch, or with the where the main bus is going to be. We're going to build off to the right. So I'm going to line this guy up kind of like this. So eventually the belts are going to go down anyway. Not technically necessary, but it's something I'm going to do. And then we're going to have a blueprint for the stone like this, which we're going to use to automate stone furnaces eventually. But for now, it'll just do that. And one thing I don't want to do, I don't want to put wood in there. You could use that as fuel. And I also don't want to make any wood chests because we started in a desert, so we don't have a ton of wood to begin with. All right, there's some more coal. Let me go ahead and make sure. I got a chest. Let's make sure that some of this is getting crafted because we're going to need a lot of stone to make all these furnaces. So I'm going to pick up that assembly machine. You can place it back later. Now these guys are going to be digging up stone. We could also walk around and break some more of these big rocks. Maybe I'll walk down here and break some of these. We need to be picking up all the wood we can so that we can make some small power poles. Only thing we're going to need wood for. And once you have a surplus of items in your inventory, you want to be continually crafting things. When we get enough stuff to make power, we're going to want 1 boiler, 2 steam engines, 1 offshore pump, a selection of pipes, just a few of each, and then, what was it? A lab, and a few electric mining drills, and a whole bunch of power lines. Alright, so I've got the iron about halfway filled out. The stone is mostly filled out. A little bit low on the coal. It's going to be a continual thing, filling in the coal. The copper there is a bit low. I'm going to go ahead and run over here and set up our power. I am auto-crafting some belts. At the moment, got 120 or whatever. We're going to need 10 automation science packs to get started. Let's grab our blueprint book. I've got a blueprint book, which we're going to use to make power here. This is really easy blueprints to place down. And in fact, it's even questionable if you even need the blueprint. But we're going to go ahead and use a blueprint for this particular thing for at least the time being. We need a pump to ground guy, offshore pump. I always forget exactly what that guy's name is. For whatever reason, I can never remember the name. I'm going to put an underground pipe there. A pipe to ground, that's what it's called. I think, yeah, pipe to ground, so that we can walk in between. There's a little bit of convenience factor. And then we basically need to run a belt all the way back over. We're also going to need to run power lines, and we're going to be placing more of these blueprints. So I'm going to go and stamp some down so you can see how the power lines need to be spaced. They need 1 space in between them. And the common ratio for setting up your steam power, you need 1 of those offshore pumps, fueling 20 boilers, which will power 40 steam engines. So I'm just going to leave a good amount of space there. I'm not exactly counting or anything. Just that's about as much as we're going to need. And now it occurs to me I just tried to use a keybind. Yeah, I don't have my bar set up, so I'm going to set up some stuff here real quick. You can set these up however you like. This is just how I am used to them being laid out. It's going to be like this. I've got some power lines right there. And I guess we'll just stick with this every other thing. I'm not sure exactly how far over this is going to go. And there we go. Okay, and one thing I didn't do is I didn't put any coal in that guy. Let's see if we have enough belts. I've got my 10 automation science pack guys done, so we'll just continue making the belts. We're going to research automation, which will get us assembly machines. We need to jumpstart our power, so I'm just going to put some coal manually in there, which will start our electric mining machines up at the right, which will automate the whole thing because the coal is going to go down the belt now. And looks like oh, I didn't actually place them. Those are just the ghost images. Okay. Guess we need power. That's fine. Let me hook up these guys, fill in where those power poles are going to be needed. There we go. Now it's automated. Let's place down this guy, and let's dump these guys in here. We need to start with this research. Hit T to open your research menu. We're going to do automation to get assembly machines. And we're going to go back to working on this. Let's pick up coal. We're going to keep... Why is this not... Oh, this needs to get rotated. You rotate items, by the way, by hitting R. You rotate the other direction by hitting Shift R. So R goes clockwise. Shift R goes counterclockwise. Grab all that. Fill in these guys. All right, so all of our starter blueprints have been filled out, and we are researching the next thing, which is logistics. So one thing we can do is we can clean up this blueprint book just a little bit by deleting these early ones. We don't need them anymore, and we've got a unsullied, perfect early, the full version of the book in our blueprint menu. So let's get rid of that iron one. Let's get rid of this copper one. Get rid of this stone one. And in fact, I'm going to get rid of this steam engine one too, because that's easy enough to just do by hand. Now we need to place the next blueprint, which is going to be, let's see, we're on this blueprint. We need to back up to this. Yeah, we need to start automating some things. So we're going to do this. I'm actually going to move that. Go ahead and interrupt what it's doing. Place down the things. I want to do this left side first. I don't have any inserters left, which looks like I'm about to be automating those. Okay, so let's just place down the other things while I wait for my character to handcraft that stuff, put in the power poles. It can be hard to see what you're doing here, and I will try to make things a bit brighter on YouTube. One thing I would recommend is you can use the pipette tool by hitting Q. And if you have that thing, it'll put it in your hand so you can see, like, if you can't quite tell what something is from looking at it because the ghost is too dim or whatever, it's too dark at night, you can use the Q to pick it up, and it'll also show you the direction it's supposed to be facing, which can be real handy. Now, these things right here, these are constant combinators. You don't need to build these or place them. They're just little symbols, basically, to show you what to put in the various different places. Need a power line right there. Do you have power? Yeah, okay. So this says put iron and copper plates in this guy right here. So this guy is going to automate some stuff, some intermediaries. He's going to make gear wheels and green circuits. We can pick them up in this chest. And we can start filling in the rest. Let's see. What am I missing? We need to dump these guys in there. Then we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more assembly machines. I'll make 3 at first. And we're also going to need some of these guys. Picking up this will help out. And while I'm handcrafting some stuff, I'm just going to run around and do some maintenance, fill in some coal. Once these guys are full, it's going to automate science. It's going to be slow, but it's going to automate it. And it's also going to make us inserters and belts, which we're going to need, and these intermediaries, which are used for a lot of things. Gear wheels, green circuits, which will make crafting the assembly machines faster. Okay, so logistics is done. We're going to start with steel processing now. Once that's done, we have a little buffer area that's going to start making steel. We want to make sure that that is getting made here on the other side. I guess I need some chests there. Let's cancel these power poles so those get made right now. We want to make sure that this has power so we have some steel ready when we're going to need it. Okay, it's not there yet. Let's put the power poles in first. Instead of making a bunch of sound effects, and then link this up with our power right there. There we go. Okay, so there we go. That guy is just going to make a bunch of steel, which will be useful to make our first power poles. Then we're going to start running belts, and we're going to need a bunch of inserters there as well. We've got our little area making inserters and belts. We need to make sure to keep fueling this thing up. It's also doing some science, but kind of slow. We just need it doing a little bit of science at a time while we get all of this up and running. This is also going to need inserters. But the first thing we need to do before we hook up a bunch of inserters and get these belts going, we need to provide the space, and we need to lay out the blueprints just to see exactly what we're going to be doing to plan a little bit ahead. So we've got this thing already made over to the left. Next blueprint is a mining blueprint. Then we've got iron and copper smelting here. Each of these will provide a full yellow belt. Eventually, we'll upgrade them to red belts and steel furnaces. That'll provide a full red belt. So, before we place that, we're going to need a balancer. We're going to get that balancer book I included in the description. And I just want enough room here for this 8-to-8 balancer because we're going to have 4 belts of iron and then a few belts worth of, well, at least for the ore going in. We're going to have 2 layouts for steel. So we need to have room to balance all of our ore so it gets split evenly between all of those things. And then we can start laying out our smelting. We're just going to, I guess I'll just line it up with here. It doesn't matter tremendously where it is vertically. So we're going to have 4 of these going to the north and then 2 of these layouts for steel. And to the south, we are going to have copper. And just in case, maybe it might make sense to put a small gap in between them. And it'll be easier to distinguish visually what's going on. So this will be the iron, this will be the copper. We're going to start our main bus kind of right here. We're going to have 4 belts of iron. We're going to have 4 belts of copper. I'm going to put 2 spaces in between them so we can do underground belts going up and down. And it's not too hard to do while we don't have many resources in the beginning. On the bottom here, we're going to put our green circuit, which we are going to be building soon. To the north of our iron, we're going to have a belt of steel, and then a belt of coal, and a belt of stone, and eventually plastic. So that's going to be the extent of our bus. We'll also have a belt for the red circuits and the blue circuits. So up here above all of these belts that we've just provided space for, and I guess we could go ahead and plop down the rest of the blueprints here just so we can see how much space it's going to take up. That's going to be our iron. Here's the steel. I'll provide just a little bit of space. You don't have to put the space in here. Just might help. Okay, so there is the steel, and we're going to have a coal line running down vertically through all these guys connected up. This line right here, and I've showed where the coal is supposed to go and where the different ore is supposed to go. This stands for iron or copper, not iron sticks. This is an either or symbol. I just trying to make something that made sense. Okay, let's grab, that's the wrong book. Let's put the rest of the copper down, 4 lines of copper. And that's all of our smelting for the whole base, for the whole bootstrap base. And then over to the right, we're going to need room for green circuits. And to make the blueprint book as concise as possible, I've just given you full blueprints. It also helps so that you don't like put stuff over something and then need space later. So early versions of this guide, I had some smaller versions of the different builds, so like just a partial green circuit build, and ran into problems where I would build stuff where we needed to expand the green circuits eventually. So just to keep the guide a bit more concise and also to make sure you don't build stuff over where you're going to need space, I've provided the full build. We don't need to fill this whole thing out at once, and I'm not going to. We're just going to do part of it. And in fact, just like this little bit right here will do for now. Not crafting anything, so let's make some of these, and then just keep crafting belts, I guess. All right, we'll just do this to start. We need the iron coming in, which is going to come in through here. And then we need the circuits going out. Copper comes in on the left here. Circuits go out like this. I didn't craft any splitters. They're going to go out like this. And they are going to enter the bus right there. And we can delete this because this is not where they're going to be. They're going to start right there. All right, so the next blueprint we need, and this is also another one we're going to place a little bit at a time as we need it. It's a lot of stuff all at once. We're going to fill things in as we need them and as we have the resources to do so. This is our first little production area. Oh, there's something in the way up there. Tree. There. Okay. This is our first little production area, which is going to build all the stuff we need for the base. And you may notice that a lot of the assembly machines have little crosses through them. We can't make them yet because we haven't researched all the technologies. And we will fill those in as we get new access to the various different technologies. The main thing we want to do, we want to fill in the belts far enough along to start crafting assembly machines, belts, and inserters, and then do the rest as we can. Once we get the science up and automated, we'll have time to come back here and fill in more. So I'm just going to do that. We're going to run back and pick up some more resources. I'm going to start crafting some long-handed inserters with my normal inserters. And then we're also going to lead our belt of iron. It's going to go. We're going to bypass our balancer for now. What we're going to do, we're going to bypass a lot of this blueprint. This is where our future iron plates are going to be coming from. Do I have underground belts? I do. We're just going to bypass all this stuff for now and fill it in later, just so we can get the stuff up and running. All right, so I've got enough of the new production area made, so it's making inserters for us, it's making belts for us, it's making assembly machines for us. It's going to continue to make more and more stuff as we fill out more of it. So this is where the steel is going to come in. It's going to come in right from this belt, which is going to come from up there. But before we set that up, we should start thinking about the next blueprint, which is going to be the science, the beginning of the actual real science. This is this thing that we just made. This is early production. Next blueprint, Science 1 and 2, which we just gonna move over here to the right a little bit so we can start making a little bit more progress on our science. Is not really going very fast at the moment. And just as a way to figure out how much space we need, I'm going to look forward a few blueprints. This is the research labs, but I need to know how much space we need above here for future stuff. So I'm going to go all the way up to Science 3 and 4, which is going to go basically right here. And we're just going to line it up kind of like this. Does it matter? Let's see. I want it lined up with those particular assembly machines. Yeah, something like this should be fine. Right about there. So I'm just going to place that so I know how much room I need for my research labs. There are a few things that we're not going to be automating the production of. Some things we just don't need that many of. We only need them to build them once. One example is the pump jacks for our oil up here. We only need to make like 12 of those or whatever. We'll make them once, and that's it, so it's not automated. Another example is the research labs, which we're not going to automate because we just have to make them once. There's the blueprint. So I just line that up like so, and that should be enough space like that. Whatever. And we will build this, we'll fill this in. We'll start automating our science, and then while our science is automated, we're going to back up and we're going to start filling in some of this stuff. We're going to fill in probably one of these iron lines, one of these copper lines, a little bit more of the green circuits, and some of these machines as we get access to new tech. All right, so little update. Now that the science is up and running, it's not going very fast. We don't even have radar, so I can't look at it from here, but I guess I can zoom out and look at it over there. We're crafting the red and the green. Stuff is getting produced over here. We just need to make sure that stuff is happening faster, so we need to start filling out our iron smelting and our copper smelting, filling these guys up with coal continually. It's going to get old really fast. In fact, it's already old, so we're going to route our coal up around here. I've set up some electric mining here, and we're going to route it down all the way through all of these guys. One belt is going to be fine to run all of these guys. We just need to craft enough splitters and underground belts to route it all the way down, and we're only going to fill out the rest of the stuff until we need it. The iron here has been set up, so the coal should be filtering down, and then we should have our automatic iron smelting up and running. Let's go ahead and make sure that it makes it the rest of the way down. I separated these guys, so we need an extra little underground section. Okay, and then we need we need to make sure that that's going the proper direction. Face down. There we go, and rotate that one. That could be a kind of a bad idea. Okay, and then we continue down. This is the one that we're bypassing a little bit, so we're going to set up the first actual copper smelting area. We can get rid of those because those are just placeholders. We're going to set up... Oh, I'm out of splitters, and I'm out of stuff. We're going to have to come back with more supplies, but basically it needs to get sent down there, and we need to set up our ore for our copper mining. So we're just going to parallel this belt and run it all the way back. How many belts do we have? We don't have a ton. Okay, and we're going to run it back there. We're going to set up similar mining with our mining blueprints. Did the coal reach all the way down to get to here? Looks like there's something in the way. Probably, maybe something's just backwards or whatever. Where did it stop? It got to here. Oh, because I separated these. Okay. I put a little space, which means the underground belt isn't going to reach. Now it should go down. Get rid of this little placeholder. Yeah, okay, now it's going to go down. We should get more iron plates coming in. And you may notice I've put these 4-to-4 balancers here at the beginning of our bus. They're in the blueprint, the belt balancer blueprint book. It's in the description of the video. We have enough circuits for now. I think I just need to pick up some raw materials, increase our iron, increase our copper. And then, once we're done with that, we need to add more green circuits until we're crafting more than we can use, and we'll continue on from there. The mining drills are up here, and I don't think iron plates have filtered down that far. So I will need to handcraft those. So I guess I'll just scoop up some iron plates from the belt. Here's some leftover, or some backed up plates. There we are. All right, give me some of that. I didn't pick up any splitters, because I guess those aren't getting made either. Pick up these plates. There we go. Okay, the smelting has started. And we can probably come down here and finish off this now that I can make a few extra. Here, let's actually cancel those, so we're making those. There. All right, that's finished. We need to trace the belt around, set up our copper mining. Okay, so things are starting to speed up as we fill in the iron and the copper. I've started routing the coal line to go around the top, and we need to set up a stone line as well. We researched optics just now, which is lights. Let's see, what should we research next? Maybe military, just for a little bit of defense. We researched our medium and large power poles, so we can set up production of those right here. It's going to be super important. Let me make sure I set those. Those are backwards, so I'm actually just going to reverse the chests. Or actually, let's reverse the recipes here. Change this one to the big power pole, because we don't need as many of the big power poles, just want a few of those. They should start getting fed through. But before they even will get made at all, we need to set up the steel through here. I don't have any belts. Oh, yeah, I do. I guess I clicked on this thing, which is our steel line. That's going to come in right through here. Through there. Oh, that's finished already. Yeah, things are starting to speed up. Let's get some fast inserters going. Okay, so the steel line is going to come up through here. I need to fill in one of these. And then the coal line, which we can go ahead and fill in. Gonna come around the top like this. There we are. So that is coming in over from, I guess I still don't have radars, so I'm just gonna have to zoom out and walk over here. I've got the coal being mined up. It's going straight down through all of our different mining areas or the different smelting layers. And it's also coming around the top here. Coming around the bend. Let's go ahead and hook that up. We're going to need a underground belt right there to bypass that. And that needs to go right here. We need to do the same thing with the stone. Do I have mining drills? I got 26. All right, let me pick up some extra belts. And then we'll start working on that. Keep speeding everything up. Also filling in the first of the steel smelting areas. Alright, well, I think this is a pretty good place to end the first video. We've got the main bus basically laid out. Not everything filled in, but we are working on it. We've got the iron being smelted, moving through here. Copper being smelted, moving through here. We've got this vertical line of coal, which is fueling all of our smelting lines. I've set up the mining for the stone, which is coming through here. Also, we increased the size. I guess we'll run over here to the left. I've added more green circuit production. We want to wean ourselves off of these guys, which are, well, we have to manually add coal to them, which is super annoying. So we want to get rid of those guys and start to replace them with electric mining. I've added more steam turbines over here, or steam engines, actually. So there is a growing row there. And we've got some additional mining here. We're just going to keep filling stuff in as we're able to. That is researched. We're going to start on military science packs, I guess. We want to get all of the fluid handling stuff available. And, of course, as we start to add more and more stuff, be sure to continue to fill in the different recipes for our production area here. So we've researched, for instance, the ability to make some not radars, turrets right here. And I don't think this will work. Let's just try something real quick. If we go back to this recipe, if I find it in the book, suppose I went the wrong way. There it is. Okay. If I shift click this, is it gonna put the recipe there? Oh, it does. Okay, good. So if you have researched new stuff and you want to update the recipes that are available, you just shift click the recipe on top of your existing structure here. And now we're, for instance, producing gun turrets right there. And you're just waiting for the inserters to fill that stuff in. That's military science, just got researched. We're going to need advanced material processing for that, which is the furnaces or whatever. So we've got some new stuff that's going to be getting made. Pumps, engines. We've got our power stuff getting made here. Here's our electric mining drills. And I haven't made any lights, but we'll start filling those in as well. So we'll have some light for the future episodes. It is dark now. Very important, though. One of the most important things you can start to automate is the grenades, which is not getting made, I guess, because there's not enough iron plates getting filtered down through here. We just need more iron production. As I get more belts, we can start filling these in. And we can start, see, we're not producing much iron right now, but we're going to work on it. We're making progress. That's going to do it for episode number 1. Episode number 2, we're going to get into fluid handling. We're going to start refining our oil, and we're going to automate production of the base with robots. Oh yeah, that'll be great. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.